I'm not originally from this area. I'm originally from Baltimore, but this area works for me for some reason. And I had some recovery time before I got sober here in 2005, and I went through the halfway house program. Got out. I was doing very well. Went back to work at the halfway house. Almost 3 years later, having 3 years of sobriety by doing the things that I kind of do now today. When I was working there, I was driving down to Baltimore to see my daughter, and I flipped my car off the road. Um, you know, accident, no drugs involved, no alcohol involved. Accidents do happen. Was in a 20-day coma. Woke up not knowing what happened, not knowing what was going on. Addicted to opiates. My first problem was alcohol. I had gotten over that point. Then I was put on opiates there, and I came off of them afterwards because I did not want to go back working at a place where people were fresh in recovery and have them even get a whiff that I am on anything. I was there to help them and support them. So I detoxed myself off of everything before I went back to work and did what I could to help and assist people in recovery. And that's where it started, and that was in 2008, 2009, where I really started in saying, I can make a difference in people's lives. About a year after my car accident, I met a woman that I went to school with. We'd known each other since kindergarten. We ended up getting together, and like good alcoholics, because she was in recovery too. I was in recovery, went on 3 dates, and then we were engaged. So that's just an alcoholic, let's go out and get it done real quick. And that was in May when we met. We were married in October, but I was still suffering from pain issues from a car accident. She had had major surgeries on her neck and lower back and had her tailbone removed. She had a lot of things going on. She started pain management. I injured myself about a year after our marriage. I re-injured some of the things I had injured during my car accident and went into pain management. And I did okay at first, but the doctors that prescribed to us were just pill pushers, and they gave away anything and everything we asked for. I was on OxyContin, oxycodone, tramadol, Klonopin. I was amped up every day, and I did okay on it for maybe the first 2 months. After that, it was abuse, and that went on for 5 years with me and my wife. Got thoroughly addicted, and I got in another car accident. Somebody rear-ended me this time, messed my neck up, which wasn't messed up in the first accident. And same day, my wife lost her job. And us being in a kind of depressive mode by taking opiates and everything else spiraled downhill. Got to a point where she committed suicide. She hung herself. I found her, and I've been in recovery ever since then. And I moved from down that way where I moved to be with her, and when we were married, I moved back to Cumberland because my recovery out here was very good, and the people that I knew out here were very deep into recovery and very good friends who would help me in the first time. And they helped me again this time when I came back, and I was a mess. I was a mess for about 3 years. I couldn't keep two thoughts in my head at one time. It was just horrible. I was so depressed. I had anxiety disorder. I had PTSD. I had OCD. But it's not as bad as what it was when I first came in. It was horrible. Everything was out of place, and I had to straighten everything out. And I was going to therapy for a lot of this stuff, and then it was revealed to me that, when my wife committed suicide, our house that we lived in went to total hell because both of us were depressed and everything went downhill. And my OCD was kicking in because it's something I can control, and I couldn't control it then, but I can control this. So all the angles, all the things that I was putting together and having to have that way was a result of that, of what had happened by finding her. And it's amazing. The human mind's amazing. It just totally amazes me what people can go through and come back from. People always look at me and go, wow, you really came back far. And I was like, yeah, I was pretty lost because for the first 3 years of being really depressed and going through all this stuff, I really did not want to live. And the only thing I did right was I went to my 12-step meetings every day. I went to therapy. I took medication like I was supposed to. And then eventually I ended up getting to a point where things started coming together. I wasn't sleeping 14 hours a day. I didn't walk around not wanting to live. I didn't want to kill myself, but I didn't want to be alive either. It was just a life of nothingness. And I tell people this when I talk to them. Recovery isn't an event. Recovery is an experience, and it takes time. It's a journey. It's not like you're done and this is it. You're done doing what you were doing, but it's going to take a few years for the brain to straighten out and for everything to straighten out before you feel comfortable being around anything, drug-wise, alcohol-wise. I go into bars now, and it doesn't bother me. I went to a cookout the other day, had 5 people offer me a beer, and I said, no. And it's not like I even got it like, okay, I'd really like to have a beer. I just didn't want one. I mean, it was to that point. It was, I know what it's going to do to me. I'm not even going to think about it. My recovery today, doing this job helps for my recovery too. And I try to look at that and the experiences I've went through to try to help other people.